Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's my honor to be out here well connected with nature and bring this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. That is why I want to speak to you concerning how there is a spiritual solution to every problem. And Abdullah taught Neville Goddard that there is a spiritual solution to every problem when Neville had a problem. And the problem that Neville had to do with him living in a time when there was a great depression. So it was a financial problem because he had no money and he had no work, but he wanted to take a trip to the island of Barbados. And as we know, Abdullah, who's the black mystic from Ethiopia, he had knowledge of our ancient ancestors way back in Kemet and know that they always had a spiritual solution for every problem. And so Abdullah began to teach Neville the science of self, which is basically teaching him the law of consciousness. So in essence, what I'm saying, it takes the law of consciousness or the knowledge of self to realize that for every problem, there is a spiritual solution. And the reason why there's a spiritual solution, it is because your true identity is spirit. For you are a spirit having a human experience. You are not a human trying to be spiritual. But even until Abdullah was teaching Neville Goddard this truth, there has been a twist in what Abdullah was doing when you understand the language of symbology. This that Abdullah was teaching Neville Goddard was something that Abdullah wanted a people who've been kept in mental slavery to discover by reading between the lines and using reverse psychology. So when you look more deeply and you realize that the Bible that was given to melanated people, that it was actually their spirituality that was stolen from Kemet and been put in a way to cause our people to worship the white man as their Lord, their God, and their Savior, and their Redeemer, so that they would not be able to fix their problems because they're no longer looking to the spirit within. They start looking now for a spirit outside of themselves. They now start looking to a slave master. They now start looking to an idol outside of themselves and been trapped in idolatry. And that is why when you look at Deuteronomy 28, you are not seeing the blessings that's supposed to follow a people who had a science so great that they were able to leave the monument of the Sphinx and the pyramids and all of these mysterious things in the earth that many cannot explain. Yet, they've been kept in mental slavery because they're not finding the solutions to their problems. So when we look around the world and we see the people who believe that the Bible is literal and that the Bible is secular history, and they believe in the Jesus and Mary story that was given to them by the European, who would have stolen everything from us, stolen our spirituality, would have stolen our true history, our nationality, all of these things, and enslave our people because these people were so spiritual and so blessed. And so because of that, you find that there's so much financial problems and other problems where these people has been colonized. And so we see, in order for our people to come back to realize that they were robbed, and they were lied to. We see many of our different ancestors would have come in many different ways to show us the way to escape mental slavery. So here when Abdullah was teaching Neville what to do to fix his situation or to fix his problem, Abdullah was sending a strong message to us to say, look, every problem have a spiritual solution. Therefore, you have to check your spirituality. So all the poverty that is happening in the black community is because they need to check their spirituality. Everything that is happening in Africa and everything that is happening in all the places that the people have been colonized and they have a colonial mentality, the key to end all of this is that these people must tap back into their spirituality, their true spirituality. And that is why, my brother and my sisters, our true spirituality has always connected us back to nature. It has always connected us to look to ourselves. That is why our ancestors would have leave that message to us, saying to us, man, know thyself. So my brother and my sisters, until you discover your true spiritual self and learn to believe in yourself, learn to embrace yourself, you will not be able to fix the problems of life until you discover your true self. So, in essence, what I am saying, the biggest thing that is lacking in people's life today is that many of them do not know who they are. So when you do not know your true identity, it means you do not know your divinity. So you are lost in this world and you still kept in the dream and still asleep. And so the system have been put in place to keep you asleep. But here we see Abdullah was teaching Neville Goddard how to trust God in man. To know that God in man is man's imagination. And when you look around, common sense will teach you that everything that you depend upon for survival in this world, it was false imagined, it was false thought, it was false an idea, it was false imagined. Even those who want to display power and authority over you, this power and authority is not real. Because these same people, who many people refer to as elite, these people have one power and you have that same power. All of us have that same power that we can use to achieve our every desire. But we have to first of all fix our spirituality. We have to know our spiritual science and use that spiritual science by having knowledge of what our ancestors would have believed and would have thought. So we see Abdullah taught Neville how to trust his imagination. And because Neville trusts what Abdullah was teaching him and put his imagination to work, Neville was provided with the money and the ticket and everything to travel to Barbados, and would have traveled to Barbados first class. That great lesson that Abdullah was teaching us is that if we want to live a first class life, we have to know our true spirituality. We have to know our true identity. If we want to make a change, we have to realize that thoughts, our own thoughts, is what creates our personality and create our reality. And that a change of mind is a change of destiny. For you are the Lord and Master of your destiny. Therefore, you can create your reality consciously. So my brother, my sisters, whatever is your problem, whatever is your situation, whatever you're facing right now, the solution is going within. The solution is you need to practice meditation. The solution is that you need to practice visualization. The solution is you must practice scripting, affirmation, and all these things. Because these things will help you to reprogram your subconscious mind to go into the spiritual world, which is the real world that you can create whatever you so desire and will be expressed in this physical world. So you must get in touch with your spiritual self. So my brother and my sisters, to actually come to a close here, I am saying to you, if you're looking like me, you have to accept the fact that your foreparents way back, they were brainwashed by secular Christianity. They were brainwashed by the Jesus and Mary story. And they've been worshiping the white man as their savior and their redeemer. But I'm here bringing good news to you, just like Abdullah would have brought good news to Neville, saying to you, you must fix your spiritual life by accepting your true spirituality. Do some research of your ancestors and what they would have believed before Christianity. Do all of these things. And once you fix your spiritual life, all your situation, all of your problems, they would be taken care of. Because for every problem, every situation, there is a spiritual solution. Remember this, that as a person, you are not the creatures of circumstances. Circumstances are the creatures of man. So you can change them because you're the one who are creating them. So until you find your spiritual self, you will never be able to find the solutions to all of your problems because you're looking in the wrong places. There's so many people looking in all of the wrong places to change their circumstances. Many are looking to politicians. Many are looking to preachers. Many are looking to the educational system. But remember, all these things came about through imagination. That's why I'm saying to you, imagination is God in man. And that was something that was known by our ancestors. And that's why they always say, to believe in yourself. Man, know thyself. And that's the great message of salvation. Because true salvation is self-realization. And that was the message that Abdullah was teaching to Neville Goddard. That we can read between the lines and use reverse psychology so that we can overcome all mental slavery. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I really want to thank you very much. And I want to say, if what I'm saying to you is helping you and you believe that if you've been connected with your inner self, your true self, your spirit being within, that you will be able to fix your problems. I want to say to you, if you like to get more of this kind of message, I would encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. But just before I leave, I just want to remind you that this message I bring to you, that it is the singular eye, yes, the singular eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. And my brother and my sisters, this singular eye message that you're reading in Matthew chapter 6, verses 22, that was taken from Kemet, whereby our ancestors knew about the story, the Egyptian story of Osiris and Horus and the resurrection. I want to say to you, my brother and my sisters, you would experience the resurrection within. You would experience the virgin birth, everything from within. For hadn't it been that when that single eye would have awakened within me and I would have changed from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you. For when it happens to you, my brother and my sisters, you would experience a great and mighty shaking, and you would hear that unearthly wind. And you would ascend like a fire breath-in, and you would burst your crown chakra. Yes, you would come out of your skull and become invisible. You would become spirit, and then you would know that you're spirit, and that for every problem, there is a spiritual solution, and you have to go within to fix all of your problems. That is why, my brothers and my sisters, as the sun rises each and every day and powers all of humanity and give all of humanity its energy, so too you would realize that this experience is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For you would realize that the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun there is no life and there is no light, and without the human imagination there isn't anything made that was made. And that is why you've been told in Psalms 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. Then in Malachi chapter 4 and verses 2, you're told also that the Son of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. So remember, righteousness comes from discovering the Son in you. Righteousness comes by experiencing that you are a spirit having a human experience. So my brothers and my sisters, when the sun rises in you, you have no choice but to bring healing to all of humanity. That is why I am encouraging each and everyone to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. and to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire. For that was the message that was taught to Neville Goddard by our ancestor Abdullah. So my brother, my sister, whatever situation, whatever problem, there is always a spiritual solution. So get in touch with your spiritual self and free yourself from all mental slavery. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.